All right, my man Frank said he just found my channel recently on YouTube and appreciate the content. Much obliged. He writes a bunch of other stuff which I won't go into here, but then he said, "I hope you don't mind this question, and I hope it's not a dumb one, but I'm not sure I'm not sure how to get the answer." All right, so remember, when it comes to your money, my friends, ain't no such thing as a dumb question. The dumbest question are the one you did not ask when you're out of $1,000,000 because Bernie Madoff came around. If that makes sense, I mean. Bernie, how are you getting consistent 10% rates for return? Well, that's a dumb question. And next thing you know, you're freaking in the, you know, living in a van down by the river. All right, so Frank says he saw me using Portfolio Visualizer. He likes Portfolio Visualizer, but then he asks, is the growth rate they use on Portfolio Visualizer after fees? I ask because fees can make a big difference when comparing one fund or ETF to another. One may be a low-cost fund, one might be a high-cost fund. So when I see the growth rates on Portfolio Visualizer, one fund may beat the other, but I'm not sure if that includes fees. All right. So what happens here is and he asks if, when you're using the Schwab site too, when you're using mutual funds and ETFs, you're getting an NAV, net asset value, and that's the net, not gross return. That's the net of internal fees. All right, so I cannot stress this enough. What you see on these platforms, Schwab, Vanguard, Portfolio Visualizer, are net of the internal expenses. All right, and this is why I like the Morningstar Fund Star ratings, because the Morningstar will say, "Hey, we got 4 or 5 star fund," and the reason for those consistency on these Morningstars is because essentially the lower the fee, the better the returns, relatively speaking, to all the other funds that are out there. That's almost as assured as the sun rising in the east. It's just that fact. So if you have a mutual fund with a 1.25% fee, we'll just say a small cap fund, versus a small cap fund with a 0.25% fee, there's no reason you should go for the 1.25 unless you have some significant reason to choose that one. But just by default, you should every time go with a lower fee fund without question, because fees matter. And as such, the lower fee fund will outperform more often than not. Not every year, not guaranteed, but that's, again, it's about the safest bet you can make for predicting portfolio performance. Now, that only includes the internal fee, the fee that the fund has to use to pay the bills, send your statement out, pay the highfalutin fund manager and all that. That does not include trading costs. Like someone said at Vanguard, at Schwab, it costs $75 for each purchase or sale of a Vanguard fund. So that's not including that fee. And it also does not include if you're hiring a guy. If you're hiring a guy, say at 1%, that fee is not included in Portfolio Visualizer, or it's not included in the Schwab or Vanguard accounts. It's not, because Schwab, Vanguard, Portfolio Visualizer has no clue what your manager is charging. They only know what the fund manager charges, because the fund manager has to report that to the SEC. Hope that makes sense, because that's a big deal. And I tell you, man, one of the snakiest things you'll ever see is these guys saying, "Here is my portfolio." Like, is that gross or net? Well, it's gross, and I only charge 1%. Like, well, I'd like to see that net. I'm telling you right now, man, that drives me up the wall. My portfolio did better than the index fund. Yeah, but so you work for free? No, but it's only 1%, no big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. I hate that crap. And it actually ticks me off. And so now you see a lot of professional financial advisors. They're using low-cost ETFs because they're fiduciaries and they don't believe in active money management and active funds and charging 1.25. No, they're trading the fee that they used to pay for the portfolio manager, and they're taking it themselves. It's such a clown show. Oh yeah, it was. I used to hire Oppenheimer funds at 1.25, and I get a front end commission. But no, I don't do that anymore. So now I just charge you. I use Vanguard ETFs that fit 5 basis points, and I charge a point on top of that. You're like, well, it's the same fee, dude. It's the same thing. It's just you're getting the fee. I'm not. You're getting the fee. The fund manager is not. But it's the same thing. And if they don't show you that return net of fees, then you need to run for the hills. Hope this makes sense. Good question.